There's another Leeds fan, David Williams, getting in touch with me there. Jim, the appointment shows just how badly this club is being run. I'm so shocked that Big Sam was even a consideration. Anyway, I'm a Leeds fan through and through. I'm embarrassed to be a Leeds fan this morning, but stick with them. We have to. So Leeds fans very much have a mixed opinion on whether or not this notion, well, it's more than a notion, it's happening. Sam Allardyce going in for the final 4 games to try and save Leeds United from relegation from the Premier League. It is all going on out there. Victor Orta, the director of football, set to go as well. One famous name from the past at Leeds United, he enjoyed playing there. They had great times under David O'Leary, is one Lee Bowyer. Now, many Leeds United fans saying this morning, what about Bowyer? We'd love his passion back at the football club. Would he be back? Well, let's have a listen. Just before we came on air, I had a chat with Lee Bowyer about the current situation. And I said to him, first off, Javi Gracia, with 4 games to go, set to leave the club today. What's your reaction?
I think that it's been a difficult time for him. I think the results of late, the goals they're conceding, Big Sam, he's done it before, and now they're trying to bring him in to save him, really, because they're not in a good place at the moment.
I mean, it seems almost like desperate measures, Lee, doesn't it?
Yeah, but and if you look at the fixtures, Jim, like the one thing they have to do is tighten up defensively. They have to go back to basics. You can't keep conceding 4s, 5s, 6s in games, and you're never going to win, Jim. You're never going to pick up a point, you know. So I think if it is Big Sam, and he will go solid, I'm guessing, and try and sort out that defensive side of things and be a bit more difficult to beat, you know.
I mean, the next 4 games, Lee, Manchester City, Newcastle, West Ham, Spurs, are they going to be too much for even him?
If I was Sam going in there, the one thing I'd look at is the 2 home games, for sure. I'd look at the 2 home games because you got them fans. Them fans are amazing up there, Jim, and they can make a big difference. So as long as they stay in games, then they'll keep going behind their team. So I'd look at the 2 home games. Yes, Newcastle's a good team, and so are Spurs, 2 of the top 5 at the moment. But I think they could pick up points there at home. And West Ham, by the time they play West Ham, they could be safe. And West Ham's in the semi-final already of that European Cup. So I'd look at them 3 games. Man City, look, for the form they're in, Jim, it's going to be difficult. Like, let's be realistic here to pick anything up. But the next 3 games after that, 2 at home, 1 away to West Ham, I think they're the games you've got to really focus on.
I mean, heads are bound to be down, Lee. Are the ingredients in that team still there sufficient to keep them up?
They started really well against Leicester, started really well against Palace, but then they concede and then the wheels just seem to fall off. I think they've just got to go back to basics. Be difficult to beat, put your body on the line, just do the basics, Jim. Make sure your man don't score. You know, that goes such a long way in football. It's not a complicated game. Just do the right things and defend your box properly. Put your body on the line. These are the things that they've got to do now. They've got 4 games to go. And if they don't do that, then they're going to be in trouble.
Leeds United, Lee, a club close to your heart. If called upon, could you do a job for them? Would you be willing?
Well, I love the club, Jim, you know, and I had great times there. And if I had to call, then of course I would never turn that job down. Never, ever. I have a great relationship with the fans and with the club, so that will never change. If I was lucky enough to get that call one day, then yeah, I would jump at it and I'd be honoured to take that club forward.
But sorry to be pessimistic, Lee, if relegation looms and becomes a reality, how disastrous would that be for Leeds United? Because it's taken them long enough to get back to the top flight.
Yeah. And again, I feel for the fans, I feel for the club, everyone associated with it, you know, because they worked so hard to get back into the Premier League. Like, they was in League One at one stage, Jim. Like, it was crazy what happened to that club, but they were still getting 20-odd thousand in League One turning up to support their club. So with the history and everything that comes with that football club, it just can't bear to think about, like, Leeds going back down to the Championship, because it's so hard to get out of there, and they know only so well that it's difficult.
Lee Bowyer speaking to me a short time ago. I mean, I love his passion, Simon. When he played in the Leeds shirt, the Leeds United faithful loved him for the way he went about the job. He's still got a huge admiration and affection for the football club. If called upon, you bet I would do a job for them. I'd jump at the chance. Well, who knows? Allardyce in the box seat to take over, but who's to say Bowyer doesn't get in there in some shape or form as well?
You know, you wouldn't be surprised, would you, if there's an outcome at the end of it, even if it's the worst outcome. You could see a metric where perhaps Lee Bowyer, if he is going in with Sam Allardyce, comes out the other side as a manager of Leeds United. You can see that potential play. Now, of course, there's many twists and there's many different permutations of what Leeds United could look like. It could look like still being owned by Andrea Radrizzini. It could be owned by the Americans. It could be something completely different based upon what division that they're in.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lee's done okay. He's done a great job at Charlton. Obviously, Birmingham was a more difficult task, as I told him at the time, and ended up being that way. Leeds United is a big football club, 17 years outside, and there's a lot of reasons why that was the case. If people like Ken Bates weren't spending all their time pre-packing Leeds in and out of commercial obligations, then they might have spent less time in League One, because there's no reason that club should have been in League One, besides the ownership at the top probably wasn't right at the time. But here they are back in the Premier League. I don't think it's a disaster if they go down. I think they're probably likely to bounce back, but notwithstanding it, what a waste of time. What an opportunity missed. I thought when Leeds United landed in the Premier League that there would be a period of consolidation, which they didn't have. They went straight for the stars, didn't they?
Yeah.
And took the moon on the way up almost. And then the next 2 seasons has been a bleeding disaster.
Okay. Well, Lee Bowyer is out and about. He's in this part of the world this morning. He's down here in the southeast, so he's getting on with his daily routine.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.